Welcome you all to this third video on Paul S. Buck's very interesting story, The Enemy, which has a lot of suspense. In the previous video, towards the end of it, we found that the body of the injured patient was taken to the home of Dr. Sadao. He and his wife together did it. And when they wanted to wash him, because he was very dirty and he looked very miserable, Hannah declined. She said, "No, I cannot help it." And Hannah went to fetch the servants of their home so that they could help Dr. Sadao in cleaning and washing the patient. And the thing is that we found that no, the servants were not at all willing. Yumi, she is a girl, she was a servant, and she said, we are not ready to do it. And there is a gardener also. The gardener told Hannah that no, our master, this is in page number 30, towards the end of it, the last paragraph, and paragraph next to the last one, the master ought not to heal the wound of this white man, he said bluntly to Hannah. The gardener, he bluntly, very firmly told Hannah that our master, Dr. Sadao, he should not have healed, he should not have taken care of this white man because he belongs to our enemy country. The white man ought to die. First he was shot, then the sea caught him and wounded him with her rocks. If the master heals what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take revenge on us. This is something superstitious. See, they believe in superstitions. The gardener said that this man, he became a victim at the hand of guns. Our own army man from Japan, Japanese army shot him, and then the sea also inflicted a lot of pain on this man, and now our master is trying to heal him. This means that what the gun did to the man, what the sea did to the man, our master is going to heal those things. If he does it, then the gun and the sea will take revenge on our master, because he is against the spirit of the sea and the spirit of the gun. He is our enemy. So the sea and the gun did the right thing on him. He is our enemy. But what our master is doing, it is something against the interest of our country. And so the gun and the sea will take revenge on our master. This is a superstitious belief. And then, although Hannah does not believe in superstition, she still consoles the gardener. Said, "Okay, I will talk to your master about these things." Then we found that nevertheless she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. Then Hannah told Yumi that you bring hot water and we will take care of the patient. She went ahead and slid back the partitions. Sadao was not yet there. Yumi, following, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. "I have never washed a white man," she said, "and I will not wash so dirty a one now." Seeing the patient, this wounded man, Yumi also said, "No, I have never washed a white man." This shows that the sense of patriotism, the sense of Japanese feeling in the mind of these common people like the gardener and the servant. This servant Yumi is saying, "I have never washed a white man and I am not going to wash him also." Hannah cried at her severely, "You will do what your master commands you." Hannah said, "You have to do it. You are a servant after all. Your master wants to wash this man, to make him clean, and you are saying you won't do it. You have to do it." There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round, dull face that Hannah felt unreasonably afraid. After all, if the servant should report something that was not as it happened, now there is a difficulty. Hannah is speaking very harshly, very commandingly, in a very commanding tone. She is speaking to Yumi that yes, your master wants this and you have to do it. But again, Hannah is having this feeling in her mind that after all, we are doing something wrong so far as our identity as Japanese are concerned. An American, we have caught him and we are taking care of him, we are trying to wash him. If the news goes to the police, we will be in difficulty, and if the servants also report it, we will be in difficulty. So, although she was speaking at a very commanding tone, she again felt some fear in her mind. That is why she now changed her tone and she said, very well, said she said with dignity. You understand, we only want to bring him to his senses so that we can turn him over as a prisoner. Changing her tone, Hannah is telling Yumi that, okay, try to understand. We are not going to heal him or to bring him back to good health. Just we want that his sense should come back, and so that we can hand him over to the police. We will definitely hand him over to the police. Firstly, we are trying to bring sense in him. That is it. I will have nothing to do with it. I am a poor person and it is not my business. Bapre bap. Yumi is a woman. She said, no, I am not going to help it in any way. Then please, Hannah said gently, return to your own work. Hannah said, okay, then if you don't want to touch him, if you don't want to do anything, you go back to your own work. So Hannah has failed to convince the servants to help them for the sake of this wounded person. And now what will happen is that at once Yumi left the room, but this left Hannah with the white man alone. She might have been too afraid to stay had not her anger at Yumi's stubbornness now sustained her. Even Hannah is not feeling comfortable sitting all alone with this wounded man in the room. But since she just had a very heated talk with Yumi, Yumi was adamant. She was not, in spite of being a servant at home, she was not at all ready to follow the command of the master and his wife. Now Hannah had no other choice. Although she was not feeling comfortable being alone with this wounded man, still what she is doing is that still she is ready. She has no other choice, and she is now saying, stupid Yumi, she muttered fiercely. Is this anything but a man and a wounded helpless man? She is talking about Yumi. What are the stupidity she is doing? This is just a wounded man. He is not able to do anything. He is a poor fellow. He is helpless. So helping such a man, what is wrong in it? In the conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and untied the knotted rags that kept the white man covered. Now she has started working. She started uncovering the chest of the wounded person, and then what happens is that here we have found the hatred in the mind of the common Japanese people against the Americans, first thing. Secondly, the patriotism, that they hate whatever is American because America was at war with their country. But why are Dr. Sadao and his wife not having such a sentiment? Poor people, the servants, they are having a Japanese sentiment. The question is, why not Sadao and his wife having it? The reason is that Sadao and his wife, they are more matured. They are having some firstly, they were in America, they lived with American people and they learned, they studied there, they got love and care from American professor. But again, they have maturity and only patriotism. Often what happens is that patriotism also has a limitation. It compels you to love your country only, but there are people who can transcend this limited sense of brotherhood and they can go beyond it. For them, the whole world is a single planet. All people living in different parts and different countries of the world are the children of the same parents. We all are brothers and sisters. This kind of feeling Dr. Sadao and his wife are having. So, what happens next is that Yumi refused to wash and Hannah had no other choice. Hannah had to take the initiative to untie the knot and to uncover the chest of the wounded person. His upper body was cleaned. She herself cleaned the upper part of the body of the wounded man. And by this time, Sadao also came back. He came with his apparatus. The apparatus, the tools, the instruments that he needs to do operation. With all these things, Dr. Sadao has come back. It means he is ready to operate upon this wounded person. Hannah went to fetch mattings for ensuring cleanness of mat. Yes, when operation will be done, maybe some blood will fall on the carpet. So, in order to ensure the cleanness of their carpet, Hannah brought some things so that they will, it is something like a mat, that she will lay this mat on the floor so that their carpet is not made dirty. I am just telling you the story in brief. By the time she returned, it's already made dirty. Hannah went to bring some papers or some pieces of mats so that their carpet is not made dirty. But by the time she brought those things, Dr. Sadao had already started working, and as a result blood started gushing out, and as a result the carpet has already become dirty. And then what happens is that Sadao asked Hannah to apply anesthesia. You know, anesthesia is used for when you want to do an operation to make the part of the body not feel anything, so that there is no pain is felt by the patient. Sadao asked his wife Hannah to apply anesthesia, and now what happens is that Hannah has no experience. Although she also studied medicine along with her husband in America, but she is not that expert like her husband, and she has never had the experience of applying anesthesia. And then she is asking her husband, "Are you going to operate?" "Yes," he said shortly. Dr. Sadao is quite ready. He said yes. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of the tokonoma alcove and put his instruments out upon it. "Fetch towels," Sadao told his wife. "Yes, bring towels." And she went obediently. Hannah, you see, Hannah initially she was not ready to wash this man. When she found that her servants were not ready, she changed her mind and she started cooperating with her husband. So obediently she is following her husband's command, and she went to bring towel. And then what happens is that when she went back to the room, she saw this was useless. The blood had already soaked through the packing in the man's wound and had ruined the mat under him. She brought towel and she found that already the mat was made dirty. "Oh, the mat," she cried, looking at the mat being dirty with the blood coming out of the body of the wounded person. She said, "Oh, the mat. Yes, it is ruined." Sadao took it very normally. He was not at all concerned. He was not at all bothered about the mat having been made dirty. He said, "Yes, it is ruined." Sadao replied as though he did not care. "Help me to turn him," he commanded her. Sadao is commanding, "Yes, help me to turn him." She obeyed him without a word, and he began to wash the man's back carefully. "Yumi would not wash him," she said. Hannah reported to Sadao that Yumi will not wash him. "Yes, did you wash him then?" Sadao asked, not stopping for a moment his swift, concise movements. "If Yumi is not ready to wash, then how come the upper part of the body is already washed? Have you washed him?" Sadao is asking his wife, and she said, "Yes." He did not seem to hear her. Although Hannah said yes, Sadao did not seem to hear her. He was concentrating, he was very well focused on his action, on operation. But Hannah is quite used to such things. She knows it very well that when Sadao is busy, he is concentrating on some work. He doesn't bother about what others are speaking. He just take all things very casually. His whole carpet was made dirty. What Hannah is replying to all these things, he is just responding in a very casual way. She wondered for a moment if it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, as it was for the work he did so excellently. Hannah is wondering that this man, my husband, if he ever bothered, if he ever thought seriously about on whose body he is working. This is the body of an American. It is the body of our enemy. "You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs it," he said. Sadao now told his wife that if the patient needs application of anesthetic, you will have to apply it. "I," she repeated blankly, "but never have I." "Should I do it?" Sana said, "But I have never done it in my life." "It is easy enough." Her husband said, "It's easy, not a difficult job." He was taking out the packing now, and the blood began to flow more quickly. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. The bullet is still there. So Sadao said, after some primary work on the body, he said that the bullet is still there inside the body of this man. He said with cool interest, "Now I wonder how deep this rock wound is. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet. If the bleeding is not superficial, he has lost much blood." Sadao is he is briefing his wife about the prospective situation of the patient, that if the wound is really not very deep, then I can easily get the bullet out. At this moment, Hannah choked. When Hannah found has started operating, he is trying to take the bullet out of the body of the wounded man. Hannah choked. Choke means you cannot take your breath. You find it difficult to breathe. Hannah choked, and he looked up and saw her face the color of sulfur. Hannah, looking at her, Sadaf found that Hannah was fainting. Sadaf knew it very well that his wife was not at all accustomed to such things. She had never used anesthetic on any patient. She has never seen operation. So he found her wife fainting, and see what she said. He said, "Don't faint." Is fainting something in your control? But Sadaf's determination is like this, that there is no room for fainting. You cannot faint. We are doing something really very serious now. I am operating on his body. You cannot faint. Don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man will surely die. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. Hannah was about to vomit, and she just took her hand, both her hands on her mouth, and she left the room. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching. R-E-T-C-H, retch. Retch is that thing which you do before you vomit. Before vomiting, this is retching. So when Hannah left the room, Sadaf could hear her vomiting sound from outside, but he went on with his work. But Sadaf was determined. He had to operate. He had to complete the operation. It will be better for her to empty her stomach, he thought. Sadaf is doing operation, at the same time he is thinking, okay, it is better for her to empty her stomach, because if her stomach is made empty by vomiting, she will get relief. He had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation, but her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with this man who lay like dead under his knife. Very interesting point. Sadaf now realized, he remembered that, yes, my wife has never seen an operation. His wife is in such a miserable condition. She left the room, she is vomiting, and Sadaf could not even go to take care of her, to look at her. He is working on this patient. This made him feel angry with the soldier, that yes, you belong to my enemy country, and I am taking care of you, I am operating on you, I am trying to take the bullet from your body while my wife is vomiting. This situation made him angry with the soldier, American soldier, and he thought, this man, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. He is trying to cure him, to heal him, and at the same time he is speaking to himself and saying, this man, there is no reason under heaven. It means there is no reason at all for this man to live. This man deserves to die. This you will find throughout the whole story, this conflict in their mind, this hesitation. We earlier found Hannah was not ready to help her husband in washing the body. Finally, when the servants refused, she herself did it, and now she could not tolerate, she could not resist this thing, her body could not resist it, she went out. The same is the case with Sadaf also. On the one hand, he is trying to operate him, he has started operation, he is trying to heal him. At the same time, he is saying, this man does not deserve to live. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless, and he proceeded swiftly. In his dream, the man moaned, but Sadaf paid no heed except to mutter at him. And this made him angry, and he started operating very swiftly, and the man, he started moaning, oh, this is what the man did. Sadaf did not pay any attention to this moaning. He just started muttering, talking to himself and sometimes addressing the man. He is saying, groan if you like. I am not doing this for my own pleasure. In fact, I do not know why I am doing it. When the man is groaning with pain, Sadaf is telling him, yes, continue groaning, continue moaning. And I am not doing this thing for my pleasure. I don't know myself why I am doing this thing on you. The door opened, and there was Hannah again. Hannah has completed her vomiting. She is relieved now. She has come back. See the responsibility, the dedication. Although she was not at all ready to wash him, when she found servants not doing it, she did it. She has now, she went vomiting. After vomiting, she has come back, and to see how far her husband was successful, what he was doing. This is the intimacy, the understanding between husband and wife also. Where is the anesthetic? She asked in a clear voice. Now, yes, she remembered that her husband told her that if needed, you will have to apply anesthetic. Coming back, she is asking her husband, where is the anesthetic? Sadaf motioned with his chin. It is as well that you came back, he said. He he made a gesture and said, yes, it's good that you have also come back. This fellow is beginning to stare. Stare means move. This fellow has started making bodily movement. This is what he is telling his wife. She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. But how shall I do it? She said. She asked her husband, how shall I apply anesthetic? Sada is giving her some instruction. Saturate, simply saturate the cotton and hold it near the nostril of the man. If you find him breathes very heavily after you put this anesthetic close to his nose, you just take it a little away. This is what he is instructing her. So then we found that looking at this poor man, looking at his miserable face, Hannah felt sad. She felt pain, and she now thought that yes, it is our own people, the Japanese people, who have inflicted so much pain on his body. We often hear about stories of suffering that the prisoners of war are subjected to, and now I see before my own eyes this prisoner of war who has escaped, and how our own Japanese people have inflicted pain on him. And then he said that but we love our own country. She is now telling something else about the universal some universal phenomenon. She is saying that in the newspaper the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly with cries of joy at their liberation. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Tokima, who at home beat his wife cruelly. Our own army, they were welcomed wherever they went, the Japanese army. These people were welcome, our people loved them. If you love your army, it's good. But one General Tokima, he was reported to have beaten his wife at home. If a man can beat his wife at home, how cruel he can be when he is inflicting some pain on an enemy. If you are cruel enough to beat your wife, how cruel you can be when you deal with an enemy? This is the question that comes to her mind, and she hopes that, okay, maybe this man was not. She is trying to console her soul, herself, that looking at the poor American, she feels bad, and she said that I hope this man was not given much suffering. Then she discovers some scars, some mark. SCAR, scar means mark of injury on the back, under the ear of the man, under his ear on the back side. She notices some scar, some mark of injury, and she then tells her husband that those scars. But Sadao is not bothered about scars or anything. He is concentrating on his action, the operation. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard. Sadao is in operation, and he felt that the tip of his instrument has struck something inside. It may be near the kidney of the man. It means the bullet is near the kidney. All thought left him. Sadao has got enough happiness now. Why happiness? Because he is a professional physician. That is why he is operating on him, because although he is a Japanese and he knows that we are treating an American, he is conscious of the fact that I am a doctor, and when I can serve someone as a physician, I can help someone, that is one of the happiest moments of my life. That is his philosophy, and he is now, all thoughts left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. Why pleasure? Because he probed with his fingers, PROBE probe, not PROVE probe. PROBE probe means to make some sarge. He sarged with his finger delicately, familiar with every atom of this human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen that knowledge. See, two quotations are coming. Sadao studied in America, and the teachers under whom he studied, the teachers who taught him, those teachers were so dedicated teachers that they instilled professionalism in the mind of people like Sadao. The quotations, Sadao's teacher told them that ignorance of the human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin. A surgeon must know the whole body, the organs, which part is located in which place, the size of which part is what. All these, whole knowledge of the human body must be there. It should be a ready knowledge in the mind of a surgeon. And if you do not know the location and the size and the working of different organs of the body, and you have become a surgeon, then you are a sinner. You have committed a sin. It is a sin on the part of a surgeon not to know the details of the organs of human body. That is what his teacher often told them. This means that Sadao, when he studied medical science, he was influenced by his teachers such beautiful sentences. Another thing the teacher said was to operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it. Anything less than that is murder. If you want to operate upon a man, you are a surgeon and you are doing some operation on a human body, you have to know, you have to have the knowledge of the body to such an extent. So much knowledge of the body you must have that as if the body was created by you. You are the maker of the body. If you are the maker of something, you know every details of it. So Sadao's teacher told his students, including Sadao while he was in America, that if you were a surgeon, you must know everything in details of the human body on which you are going to do the operation, so much as if it is you who made the body. If you do anything, if you do not have this much of knowledge, then you are not operating, you are not doing an operation, you are murdering, you are killing someone. This means without having this much of knowledge of human body, you should not attempt to do an operation. These kind of knowledges Sadao got while he was studying medicine in America, and now he is applying those knowledge. That is why because of his deep knowledge of human body, he has now felt that yes, there is a bullet and it is near kidney. He is successful in finding out the bullet. He got a wonderful kind of pleasure. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend. Sadao is talking to the patient. This is his nature. When he does an operation, he starts having a conversation with the patient. Although the patient is senseless, Sadao's habit is to talk to the patient, and he is now telling his patient, okay, the bullet is not exactly near the kidney, my friend. He is addressing this American soldier as my friend. This is also his habit to use the word my friend, although in this case it was not his friend, it was his enemy. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of decisions, the bullet was out. Yes, Sadao was successful in taking out the bullet from his body. The operation was successful, and then the man started making some sounds out of pain. He said, guts, they got my guts. The man was crying in pain and saying, they have taken out my guts from my body. And then Hana cried sharply, Sadao, what have you done? The man is crying. He is saying, you have taken out his guts. Then Sadao said, hush, don't speak, don't make any sound. The man sank into silence. The man again became silent, and Sadao now became very conscious, and he checked the pulse of the man, and he found that yes, pulse is still there. It is very feeble, it is very weak, but it is there. And then yes, there was still a pulse, so faint, so feeble, but enough if he wanted the man to live, to give hope. Still there is hope for this man to live. The pulse is still there, although it is very weak. At the same time, Sadao is saying, but certainly I do not want this man to live, he thought. Sadao is now saying, I don't want this man to live. If you don't want this man to live, then why did you do the operation? This is again a question. This means that as a Japanese fellow, Sadao is not at all in love with this man. But as a professional doctor, it is his job to cure this man. These two conflicting ideas are active in his mind, and his role as a doctor, that is more active. No more anesthetic, he told Hana. So, looking at this man now, then what happened is that he turned as swiftly as though he had never paused, and from his medicine, he chose a small vial from it, and he filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Then putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. He applied some medicine, he checked the pulse again, and he found that the pulse was really fluttering, it was active. This man will live in spite of all. Now Sadao told his wife that whatever it is, you find him to be senseless, to be very weak, but this man will live. The young man awoke so weak. The young man opened his eyes, he looked very weak, and Sadao's wife became very afraid looking at his face. And when Sadao left, Sadao told his wife that this man will continue living, he will not die. Saying this, Sadao left. Operation is successful, the man has got back his sense, he is looking. And now there will be a talk between Sadao's wife Hana and the man. That talk will be very interesting, and then you will know more about the mentality of Dr. Sadao's wife Hana and the kind of greatness that they have in their mind about fellow human beings. So the next part will also be very interesting, full of suspense. Next part we will see Hannah talking to this wounded American soldier when the American soldier has, since he has got back his senses now. This we will see in the next video. Thank you very much.